There are two basic ideas behind the bike build. The first is the designer's intentions, which is to reinvent the concept of what a motorcycle could be. Basically saying, let's throw away the concept that a motorcycle is a bicycle with an engine clipped on it. And if you completely rethink how that works, how two wheels work under power, that's really his goal, to kind of rethink that whole process with the Bienville Legacy. Our goal in commissioning him to do that is to observe one of many master craftsmen plying his trade, making decisions, figuring out what he's going to do, how he's going to approach it, so that we could take those learnings back to other industries. So the most distinct features on the bike include, first and foremost, the suspension. That's the red leaf spring that's running across essentially as the backbone of the bike. Because the engine and seat hang off of the center of that leaf spring, it creates two independent springs. That completely reinvents how a bike is suspended. Because of that suspension, the second most remarkable aspect of the bike is the steering itself, which is the first perfectly centered steering over the center of the wheel. Because you don't have telescoping forks which offset how you steer, you actually are steering the center of the wheel. So that is also a patented aspect of the bike. I would say the third aspect that stands out the most is just the aesthetic. And that really gets back to, again, the designer's intention, which is to create, in his words, a design language that would be recognizable long after he's gone, and which is essentially a core reason why the project is called the Legacy. So the question about what are you making and why are you making it was core to our thought process when we started. The reasoning behind these bikes, which are base price of $350,000, because of all the componentry, the titanium, the carbon fiber, the hand construction, the intention first and foremost was to rethink the motorcycle and to create elements that could be used on other bikes. And so there's an aspect to this which is designed to be shared. The engineering over time, the patents and so forth, we're looking for other manufacturers who'd like to use the simplicity that we've created on things like mopeds and what have you. The bike itself is only intended to have 12 versions, 3 of which are hand-built and 9 more which will be limited production with Pratt & Miller. Those are all starting at the same base price, but similar to what you see in Pagani and McLaren and other hyper kind of markets, the baseline is kind of where you start, and with that sort of buyer, you tend to move from there. So the customization is 100% in the hands of the buyer, everything from componentry to sizing. And because of the geometry of the bike, because the bike actually doesn't have a frame that locks it into a certain size, we can resize that bike for different heights, different preferences and so forth, depending on the buyer's interests.